This man never seems to miss. This is his 11th certified fresh film in a row on Rotten Tomatoes. The only film he's ever directed that wasn't certified fresh was his first one, Alien 3, which is terrible. So that makes sense. But from the director of things like Seven, Fight Club, The Social Network, Gone Girl, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, we have the latest from David Fincher. It is streaming on Netflix. It's called The Killer. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It, and welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new David Fincher film, The Killer. This is on Netflix, streaming right now, and it's interesting. You know, when I think about my favorite directors, I always list off, like, Steven Spielberg's always at the top, you know, but I'll say, you know, Tarantino or Alexander Payne I really like, but David Fincher is one that I never really think about in that camp, and I'm not sure why. I guess maybe because he only releases, you know, one movie every 2 or 3 years. You know, he's pretty selective about the things that he does, the projects. But really, I mean, like Gone Girl, A+ for me. You know, Fight Club, A+. Social Network, A+. A lot of even sort of the maybe more lesser movies are still like A- or B+. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Game with Michael Douglas. So you know, this guy really has a great track record. Now, I don't love all of his movies. The last one he did was Mank, which got a lot of Oscar nominations, but I thought was kind of a bloated mess. But you know, I think this one is a return to form for him, and it's the first time we've seen Michael Fassbender in a few years as well. He's becoming maybe more selective with some of his projects as well. So we'll talk about all this here in just a second, but first let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I try to post something new for you to check out. So please consider subscribing or even hit that notification bell to let you know when I drop new videos every day. Or, you know, if you don't want to do that, just like this video. That helps the channel out tremendously. So, okay, let's talk about The Killer. This is basically, I'm going to just give you the sort of one log line for the movie, so I don't really spoil anything. But basically, we follow Michael Fassbender as the assassin here, who we never know his name. He's just known as The Killer. And he basically has a hit that goes wrong and becomes embroiled in an international manhunt. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about this. He is, you know, far and away the star of this movie. There are other people that show up from time to time, including Tilda Swinton, Charles Parnell, and Arliss Howard. But for the most part, this is really, you know, kind of a two-hander between director and actor here, Fincher and Fassbender. This is a neo-noir movie, and there's a lot of narration by the Fassbender character, which, you know, sometimes over narration can be a bit much, but in a movie like this where, you know, look, in the classic noir films from the 30s and 40s, there was a ton of, you know, explanation and exposition via narration, and so, you know, it's something that works for a movie like this with this kind of style to it. Now, I will admit, some of the quips that he says, or, you know, his little nuggets of wisdom, do seem like they could have come out of like a Johnny Depp cologne ad or something, because some of it is just sort of like, I don't know, laughable is not the right word, but you know, clever, or just things that seem to maybe not make sense in the moment, or, you know, like, what kind of tangent is this guy going off on, kind of thing. And it sort of comes from out of nowhere, but it all seems to work with this character. Now, we know very little really about this character, and that does not change throughout the movie, which I think was an interesting choice. You know, a lot of times you want the audience to really know the character or connect with the character. But look, recently we've had these movies like a John Wick, where we don't really know that much. I mean, we may know about, you know, the history briefly of the character, and in this case we know, okay, well, he's an assassin, and that's his job, and that's who he is, it seems. You know, and that's maybe all we need to know for this specific character. But because of these narrations and the little sort of nuggets of wisdom, we learn certainly about his outlook on life and death, and society, and in some cases politics. So we do learn a little bit about who this character is from a mental state. You know, we don't learn a lot about his background, almost nothing, really. But, you know, we at least get sort of some of his viewpoints along the way. And Michael Fassbender is the perfect person to play this role because he has such a chameleon-like quality to slip into any role. And like I said, we haven't seen him in a few years, so I sort of forgot, what a powerful actor he is. And look, here's the thing with this movie, though, and this could be a love it or hate it type of movie, because it is kind of the same thing all the way through. You're either going to be on board for the ride or you're not. So 5 or 10 minutes in, you will know if this is the movie for you. For me, it grabbed me right away. Well, and it intrigued me. I just didn't quite know what was happening, for the first, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. And then when things start to go south, then it's like, okay, but the first chunk of this movie is just narration and sort of dimly lit scenes and him sort of talking about his philosophy on the job and X, Y, and Z. And you know what? It worked for me. It was gripping. It brought me in. And it made me curious about, okay, what's the deal with this dude? And then, like I said, we find out certain things about, his viewpoints and stuff, not so much about the background. But Fassbender, perfect in this role. And look, like all things Fincher, the set design is great. The lighting is great. All of the stuff that we don't see on the screen, all the background stuff, is working here in concert with what you do see on the screen. But we once again have the great Trent Reznor score. I think his buddy Atticus Ross is with him on this as well. Yep. And they are Oscar winners for, I think, one of the Fincher movies. Was it Social Network? I forget, but these guys have worked with David Fincher for a long time. Trent Reznor, of course, lead singer of Nine Inch Nails. But, they don't, do they put out records anymore? I don't know. I think mostly he's focused on the film scores now, and he's great at it. And him and Fincher, are wonderful together, as we continue to see. So, look, this is a really, really interesting movie, even though you might say, not a ton happens in terms of, like, getting to know anybody, not just the killer, but like all these side characters kind of come in and go. But in another director's hands, this would have been like, oh, let's have this silly side character, friend or something, or whatever, come in. And there is some humor in this movie, but I think Fincher was wise to kind of really make this the Fassbender show. But it's not a what I would call an action movie. I think it is a neo-noir thriller, maybe. I think that makes sense, but this is not what I would call a typical action movie. I really enjoy this. I give The Killer an A-, and you can stream that on Netflix right now. Another good one from David Fincher. All right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.